Hello and welcome to a My Stamp Lady video. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. I use the paper Doily Sizzlit, which can cause a little bit of, frustration. So I'm going to talk about some ways to deal with that. It's a beautiful die. It makes a beautiful doily. The problem with it comes with the fact that it has such intricate cuts that things get stuck in there. So I'm going to show you some tips to deal with that. So let's get started. I'm first starting with 8.5 by 5.5 sheet of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm using the Wisteria Wonder and one of the flowers from the mixed bunch set of flowers. Inking that up with my Wisteria Wonder, and I'm stamping it off first on my scratch paper because I want my image to be light. I don't want it full strength. I just want it to be a subtle background image. And since I'm covering the bottom of my cardstock with the bottom of my card front with cardstock, I can actually just do the top portion. And then I'm going to take my cardstock. This is from the Sweet Shop series designer cardstock. And let's put that down in the corner. Okay, so now it comes time where I need my doily. Oops. So let's pull in the Big Shot, and with the doily, because it's a Sizzlit, I'm going to open up this tab here, the tab 2. So I have down tab 1. I am going to use a cardstock shim on tab 1, cardstock shim, an acrylic pad, my Doily Sizzlit face up, the paper Doily Sizzlit face up, and my cardstock. I have noticed that when I use designer paper, it is a bit easier. The cuts come out a bit easier than they do with cardstock. So cardstock is a bit of a challenge as far as it doesn't come out as easily. Okay, so then I'm going to pull this out, and here is my doily piece. And the other thing you notice is that some of the little openings will have some cardstock cut out and stuck in there. I just usually kind of go in and get those out with my with a paper piercer. Okay, so now this is what I have with my cardstock, and you'll see because it's so intricate that the pieces do kind of stay in there. But because I had that extra cardstock, and you may have noticed it was a little tougher to go through. You don't want to make it impossible. You don't want to break the Big Shot or break your acrylic pads, but it is going to be a bit tighter. And because I used that cardstock shim, I am able to just kind of go back and forth like this, roll my doily, and a lot of the pieces will fall out. Now, I used cardstock here, it's a little thicker, so they're sticking in. When I use designer paper, I seem to have fewer of the little spaces stick or stay in. So now that I've got most of the bigger spaces out that I can just kind of push out like this with my fingers, gone around and done that. What I'm going to do to get the rest of them out is I'm going to take a foam pad here and a paper piercer and just go around and kind of push them into my foam pad, and that's when most of them will come out. So I'm going to turn off my camera so you don't have to watch me poke them all out, and then I'll come back when I have them all out. Okay, I have my paper doily with all the pieces pushed out of them. They were already cut, so I just had to push them out. Now I'm going to also use the Big Shot to cut with the framelits a label. And I need now my multi-purpose pad with both of the tabs down, my acrylic plate, my cardstock, and I am using the label second from the smallest. So in the labels, it's this one. Placing that down on my cardstock with the blade side down and another acrylic pad, and we'll roll that through. Now I'd like to add a little bit of texture to this framelit, so after I've cut it out, I'll take my Perfect Polka Dots folder and put that inside there. It's amazing how much that little texture adds so much to your cardstock and to the overall card. Oops, sorry, got to change my multi-purpose pad. Open up the tabs, push those back in and roll that through. Okay, and I am now done with the parts that I need the Big Shot for. So I will set this aside. And let's bring back in my card base. Now with this, I like to use my dado adhesive because it'll grab the adhesive on the card or on the doily where it needs it, and then the part that's going through and onto my background, the dado is really easy just to rub away, and then you get the adhesive taken away for that. Now I place this down like this, and I had it overhang a little bit on the back there. Tabletop cutter here, and just line this up, and this way I'll get that edge cut off. And now it's all lined up. So next I need to take my card base and my self-healing mat, and with a hobby blade I'm just going to go in and cut on that spine, just right on the edge there, and pulling in some of this wisteria ruffled ribbon, slipping it through the little slot and pulling it out. And then I'm going to tie a bow on this other end here. Okay, so let's put that like that. And then just tie my bow for my ribbon. And I can always go back and play with that a little more afterwards as far as placement and where I want it and the size of the bow, because this is a bit larger than I think I would like. Pull that a little tighter. And then one of the little tips that you can do is if you need to move it, just kind of open it up and grab and slide it like that. Okay. There we go. Now I have the little focal part to put on top of here, and we'll put that down there. I am going to use dimensionals on the back side. There we go. And then let's stamp with the 4 frames, and I use the Wisteria Wonder. I'm going to ink up this frame onto Whisper White cardstock. Now for my sentiment, I use from Happy Mother's Day from Teeny Tiny Wishes. And I like to make sure I have this in the right space, so I am going to use my Stamp-A-Majig. And what I've done is ahead of time, I sat this down, I inked up my image, and I went down and up in the corner, and that gets it onto my paper or plastic sheet. So now I take my plastic sheet, I find the correct spot and where I want it on my image, pull the plastic sheet away, the imaging sheet, ink it up again, and now I'm going right down in the corner and back up. And then now I have my image placed where I want it. And because of the wonderful way Stampin' Up! Provides the punches for the shapes, I can just take this in and let's punch that out with the decorative label. Okay, oops, where did my adhesive go there? Use quite a bit because there's the embossing on there. Okay, let's press that down. Then I can just take off the little dimensional covers here, and let's place that down right there. Okay, for my little flowers up in the corners, I just took and punched out 3 of the pink pirouette from the punch pack. I'm going to pull my foam pad back in here and set this down. And then I like to take, and you can use a stylus. I have this older stylus that we used to carry, which I do like for this, and I'm just pushing some shape into the flowers. With mini glue dots, let's grab some mini glue dots, just put the flowers up in the corner here. Gonna get some of that back in there. Oops. Guess I missed the mini glue dot. There we go. If you lose some of the dimension from your flower by getting the mini glue dot and putting it down here, you can just go back in and kind of pop it back up like that. Let's put some pearls on there because pearls do add quite a bit, and I love the little pearl jewels. And there we go. If you have any questions about how I made this card, or if when you go to try to make it, if something's not going exactly the same way for you, don't hesitate to contact me at chris@mystamplady.com, and all of these products are available in my online store through my website, mystamplady.com. Thanks for watching.